Good morning. It is 8:03 a.m. on Saturday, September 12th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is Rocket. This is 5 more minutes. So I figured it had been a little while since we had a Rocket cameo on the video, just because, ever since I got my new camera mount, it's a lot harder to point the camera down at him. I really ought to set my second camera back up so I could do that more often, because I know you guys miss him. In any event, this little boy is very much continuing to do the dog thing of being so attached to routines that he's very insistent that I get up and come into the living room and start doing things so that he can go back to sleep on the living room floor instead of me going back to bed and sleeping in there and him sleeping in with me over there. No, that's not right. He needs me to be doing the right things. Shoot, I was going to just talk about something else, and then I got distracted by Rocket being a cutie pie. I played a bunch of Witcher 3 last night. I'm making progress in that game. I've been tending to play it fairly completionist, meaning I'm, doing a lot of side quests and stuff like that, which is certainly filling out the runtime of the game. But I just went to Skellige, which is, I think, the last of those sort of main big map areas. But I think there's still seems to be quite a bit to do left. But one of the things that I've been kind of just still thinking about is that one quest in particular that I did last night, I am frustrated by, because at the exact same time that it gave me some really good, exciting storytelling feels. On the other hand, it pissed me off because of the limitations of the video game structure. Right? So this, without getting into any spoilers for this game that came out in 2015, I think, this is a quest called Carnal Sins, and it deals with essentially like a serial killer. But one of the things that happens in particular is that an NPC is attacked to start off the quest, but this is an NPC that, like, you've gotten to know well over the course of a couple of different other quests, and she's really cool. And so to have her suddenly attack this way, like really got to me. Like I was into this, like not just like, oh, I'm gonna go catch this killer so that I can do this, finish this quest. It was more like, no, I am angry that this character that I cared about has been hurt. But without getting into the nitty gritty of every single turn of the quest, there's a point where it appears that you have caught the individual. And The Witcher 3 sometimes has this thing where you are not given a lot of time to choose your response to something. Like, it puts a little timer on the screen and you have to choose quickly. And in my impatience, well, so let me actually put it more the way that I'm really thinking, which is that the game deliberately baited me into making an impatient decision. Like, it was effective on purpose at tricking me into being impatient. Now, that's not to say that I could not have resisted that, but this is again something that a little bit like something that I felt about Last of Us Part 2, in the sense that the game is deliberately trying to emotionally engage you, but then punishes you for being emotionally engaged instead of dispassionately observant. And so, suffice it to say that because I made the impatient decision, I get a less good outcome for the uh, quest line. Um, and that's frustrating. Now, I mean, obviously this is a video game. I could reload it. But again, that for me starts to just like, at that point, what am I even doing? Right? I know that a lot of people will do that, play these games that way, endlessly replay these RPGs like that, and that's great. I don't want to tell anyone that that's wrong, because of course it's not wrong. But for me, like, to the extent that I'm engaged in the story and really enjoying it and immersed in that, it does kind of break the story for me to have to reload and say, well, now that I know better, I'm going to do a different thing. I don't know, that makes me less engaged in the story, and I find that in the times where I have tried doing that, I tend to lose interest in the game. But I'm frustrated because it's one thing to say that I just got a less good outcome. But then the game actually twists the knife. Essentially what it is that I catch the wrong guy as this serial killer story. But then later it makes sure I know that I caught the wrong guy. But here's the thing. I remember doing the quest, and I remember saying, wait a minute. There was this guy who was really obvious. So obvious that I thought he was a red herring, and that the twist was that it was actually this other guy. But now the reveal that it wasn't that other guy means that the red herring guy probably really did it, and I could just go back to him. But in the video game, I can't, because it's a video game, and I already completed the quest, and it flagged me with the not good ending, and that means that NPC is never going to appear in the game again. And instead of in real life where Geralt could say, wait a minute, if that wasn't the guy, then it's probably this other guy. I'm going to go after him because he's an official and I know where he works, and I could just go there and talk to him again. I don't know. So that's why I'm frustrated, is that, like, I would not have cared at all if the storytelling hadn't really hooked me in the first place. But then I feel like they took advantage of my emotional engagement to trick me into a dissatisfying outcome. And that strikes me as, like, it's simultaneously ingenious and infuriating. Because the thing is, as much as I'm annoyed, like, the truth is that it is kind of in character for Geralt to attempt as much as possible to resist the emotional impulse, and to at least try to make sure he understands fully what's going on before he acts. But that's kind of like the push and pull of the whole thing, is that he tries to be neutral and frequently finds that he can't be neutral, or that being neutral actually produces a worse outcome than either side. And so, like, I don't know. I feel deceived in a way that has simultaneously pissed me off, but also kind of activated my storyteller brain. So, what to make of that? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes, where I will be continuing my rewatch of The Legend of Korra. Only a couple more episodes of Season 2, and in the meantime, I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.